Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azmi. I am from SMA N 4 Garut, and here I am as the third speaker, and I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. As the third speaker of the opposition team, I stand strongly against the motion. This House supports the use of military-style education to develop Pancawaluya character values among high school students. Let me make it clear. While we agree that character education is essential, military-style education is not the way to achieve it. No, I will reinforce my team's previous arguments, identify key clashes, compare both sides, and explain why the opposition side should win this debate. Our first speaker has explained why military-style education is not suitable for the psychological development of teenagers. Let me defend that point. Teenagers are in a critical period of identify formation. Their brains, especially the prefrontal cortex, which handles emotional regulation and decision-making, are still developing. Now, imagine placing these students into a rigid, high-pressure environment where they are constantly ordered, punished, and told what to do without question. Let's take a real-life example from Indonesia. The case of Sekolah Inspektur Polisi Sumber Sarjana (SIPSS) trial programs in several regions like Jawa Timur and Sumatra. Students report increased anxiety, stress, and even depression due to the strict discipline and emotional repression. These are adult students, not high schoolers, and even they suffer from the pressure. What more for teenagers? Meanwhile, in Japan, some schools apply quasi-military routines with morning drills, strict silence, and strict dress codes. A 2019 report by the Japan Youth Development Center revealed that students in this system tend to experience higher levels of emotional numbness and suppress creativity, which ultimately harms their overall development. This is not character building. This is emotional suppression. It may create obedient individuals, but not independent, empathic, and confident ones, the core of Pancawaluya values. Moving on to our second speaker's point, risk of authoritarianism and fear-based behavior. Let's be clear. Pancawaluya emphasizes values like religiosity, nationalism, integrity, mutual cooperation, independence, and critical thinking. But how can we expect critical thinking to flourish in a system where students are trained to obey without question? A military-style approach teaches submission over discussion. It teaches students to fear punishment, not understand consequences. We can look at South Korea through Science High School, which implements semi-military boarding discipline in the 20s. The result? Increased compliance, but also higher levels of bullying, toxic hierarchy, and even student suicide. Students learn to follow the stronger instead of building through integrity and empathy. Even in Indonesia, several school-based paramilitary programs have seen power abuse, such as in Paskibraka programs where seniors hate juniors. It breeds authoritarian microcultures, not leadership. Do we want students to act morally because they understand values or because they fear punishment? Discipline doesn't require a military format. The responsibility can be built through project-based learning, leadership training, and social work, which are educational and empowering, not intimidating. Some people may also argue that the military system built resilience, but resilience built under fear and punishment creates trauma, not strength. And if the goal is to instill Pancawaluya, ask yourself this: is it better to learn integrity through open dialogue and reflection, or through marching drill and punishment? Let's compare. Finland, globally known for its education system, builds character through students' agency, emotional safety, and collaborative environments. No military elements involved. Yes, their students consistently rank high in emotional intelligence and personal responsibility. Even in Indonesia, schools like SMA Negeri 3 Semarang and Sekolah Alam Indonesia have implemented values education through community based project, group reflection, and experimental learning. The result? High student participation, strong moral reasoning, and leadership growth without yelling or marching. Which is more sustainable? A school that empowers students to think, feel, and act morally, or one that demands silence obedience? To conclude, the opposition has made it clear. First, military-style education harms teenage physiological development, replacing growth with fear. And the second, it fosters authoritarianism, which directly contradicts Pancawala values like independence and critical thinking. The third, the government solution is unrealistic and unnecessary when better. More human alternatives already exist. And the last one, the impact of this policy, if implemented, would not be stronger students, but silence, fearful ones. We're not opposing character education, we're opposing the wrong method. And if truly care about shaping Indonesia's future leaders, we must teach them with empathy, not intimidation. That is why this House must firmly reject the motion. Thank you.